Did you see people being killed in front of you?
Yeah, but he got shot outside my house. I mean, in the front door. And we was kind of wanted by them. Middle of the night, I remember, it was like 1998. A coach came in, we all jumped in the middle of the night, and we just went towards Pakistan.
Some of these contracts, they're crazy. Just read, understand your contract, know what should be in there. Seeing contract, they're being prepared by someone, right? They're not drafted well at all. They are unclear. They're not well written. And if me as a lawyer, I don't understand them, how is the fighter himself going to understand?
I don't want to do this shit. This is nothing now. Losing for me is never really gonna be an issue. It's MVP versus MVP. I don't have opponents. It's just me versus me. If I am the best MVP on the night, I don't care who's in front of me. I always say the more relaxed I am, the slower everything feels. I can see everybody.
I've been traumatized in the ring. It's made me a lot stronger in life. Life is a lot more precious to me now. I'm not saying to my mum, Mr. Watson, I don't think your son will have much longer to live.
Especially in that 11th round, you knocked him down.
I'm a champion. I am the people's champion.
You are.
I mean more to me than being world champion.
Yeah. It feels like you're building an empire. Amazing. You're a continental champion in the ring. There's something firing you, like something's burning to say. It's almost like you're running away from something else to go that side.
Yeah. The family is there and it's improving. The empire is building. As a young kid, I always believed I'm here for a purpose, to leave. I want to leave my name historically. A legacy. I want to leave a legacy here, and the legacy is to become the first Afghan-British world champion, first Afghan to ever become a world champion. And Afghanistan's trying anything, because it's my motherland. Don't get me wrong, I love Britain. Britain's my country.
Yes, of course.
I die for this country. It's given me all the opportunity. I'm so grateful for it. I haven't been there since I've left there, and I want to able to give something for the name of my dad, because then Kaisy is my name, but Khademi I want Khademi to be remembered, and that's the purpose for me. I think, alright, cool, I'm building the empire, but it's just for me. When I die, alright, cool, someone else is gonna own it, but I'm not gonna be remembered, am I? Let's leave something to be remembered. Let's do something to, inspire people, a generation of people. That's the main thing. I want to inspire and, motivate people, and people say, you know what, this guy did this. He paved the way for this community, for these people. My life started, so I was born in Afghanistan during the during war, when Taliban was coming and taking over Afghanistan.
So that was in 94 you was born?
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So I think that at that time the Taliban was already taken over, so it was still a lot of fight was going on.
What was that like growing up?
That time was more violent than what is now.
What does that mean, violent?
It was just a lot of killing. So it was the Taliban.
Did you see people being killed in front of you?
Yeah, my brother gave me, no, well, not me, I didn't say, but he got shot outside my house. I mean, in the house actually, just in the front door. And we was kind of wanted by them. I don't know for what reason, but so we, middle of the night, I remember it was like 1998, a coach came in, we all jumped in the middle of the night, and we just went towards Pakistan.
You were 4 years old?
Yeah, I was about 4 years old, and we went towards Pakistan, and then we stayed in Pakistan for 2 years. At that time, my oldest brother and my uncle was in UK, because they came here in 1998.
Okay.
So we was in Pakistan till from 1998 to 2000 we were there, until obviously a lot of people came in. It was fine in Pakistan, but when we went to other countries such as Russia and Bulgaria, Slovakia, they were very different towards refugees. Their police were very different. They used to beat you up, arrest you.
For what?
For anything. They didn't like you coming into their country. Taliban are made by US to fight Soviet Union back in days. They were the Al-Qaeda's, but I think, to my knowledge, if the previous government really wanted to fight them, I think they could have given a hell of a fight. I don't think they would have just given up, surrender easy. Think of it, 98% of opium comes from Afghanistan.
Wow.
One of the biggest markets in the world is pharmacy, right?
Yes.
And all cocoa paracetamol, they're all used from opium, and they're all been made by opium. But the government, they don't supply the world 98% of that opium. Maybe America does. Other countries that have been there for years, they've been doing. They're making trillions. People they've been using the country, and then they haven't given nothing back to the country. They haven't helped the country.
If you're going to look at a little 15-year-old now, would you be able to look and go, this guy's made for boxing or not? Or is it hard work over time? Or is it you've got to have a little spark about you and then go, I can put that shit on
with boxing, there's you can find talent. You can see a few talent you can spot on a talent straight away. You can say, well, this guy's got talent, or this guy, and then you could see a talent differently, and then you could see a heart differently. So I don't know if the coach maybe see a heart in me. I just went, because there wasn't skill, nothing. There was no skill from me. There was no talent, but I just knew how to punch up. And then I think maybe see the heart, and because I've seen great talents. I've seen great talents, and the pro, they haven't done much. And the amateurs, they've done a lot. Like I've seen them get loads of titles. The amateurs, but when they went to the pro, it's a whole different. They haven't achieved much to their full potential, and I think you need both in the boxing. You need both. You need talent. But talent can get beaten by a hard work. Hard work is a major, and hard work can be done by having a big heart. The good thing about boxing is it teaches you that you're not the strongest. There's always someone stronger there than you. It disciplines you, humbles you, wisens you up a bit. You know, it gives you another source of knowledge and logic. A lot of people are missing logic nowadays, but logic is very important. You know, we're human. Go two hands, but there's others out there. I'm not the strongest. I'm just a normal guy, and kind of humbles you down. That you're not. When I went to the gym, as I progress, I see guys are very good. You're smaller than me, bigger than me, younger than me, and it was so different. So it teaches you many things. I would recommend anyone that's going through hard in life. I think boxing is the best. Takes so much anger and stress off you. Incredible.
Sean, is don't forget, I'm a lawyer, right? I'll work probably until I drop, right? But boxers have a limited lifespan at the top level as well. Even starting out, so even if you're young, you start out at 19, most boxers 33, 34. When you're 33, you're a bit old as a boxer.
Yeah,
right?
you're like what's his name, Kell Brook sort of age, and they've got nothing left apart from like a exhibition or something.
Exactly,
like that.
right? So if you got 10 years, let's just say it's 10 years, surely you want to milk it for what it's worth. And when you've got that right opportunity, even if it's for a world title, if you're not going to get paid enough, it gives you something to think about. And this is what I say to everyone: take advice from everybody, but only take advice or ask for it from those who you trust, because everyone wants to give it some, right? And they don't even know what they're talking about half the time. But get advice from people you trust, but make your own decision. Because if you go on the advice of someone and you don't really believe it's the right thing for you, and it doesn't work out, you say, I shouldn't have listened, I did it. Then you can't, you're going to don't blame it on do it, take it on yourself.
So it's about getting the right team around you, taking everyone's opinion and decisions, and then make a calculated decision. Say, what do I want from this? Exactly.
Comes
down to you.
In these contracts, the insurer and the promoter is entitled to keep all insurance proceeds. Well, hang on a minute. The fighter's got costs.
Yeah.
Give some of those costs.
They've got camps, diets, time that they've taken out. They've stopped everything for this opportunity.
Boxing is expensive, bro. It's like you mentioned, medical, nutrition, camp costs, trainers costs, British Board of Control, licensing costs, you name it, managers' fees, and percentages. So what is the boxer left with? Not a lot, right? To be quite honest with you. So this is why you just get some advice, and you may think, I've got a promotion contract, and at least I'm on the radar now. That's fine, but understand some of these contracts, they're crazy. So they'll talk about, this is your purse for the first fight, second fight, third fight, up until potentially 10 fights. Imagine you're a young kid, you're starting out relatively, old, and I say old in inverted commas, 22, 23. That's old for a boxer to start, perhaps. No amateur pedigree. But there's something about you've been spotted and you get signed up, and there's a 10-fight deal, and again, we keep it very simple. First fight, £10. Second fight, £20. 10th fight, £100. If you've got nothing, that 10, 20, £100 is a lot of money potentially, and you're thinking, that's good. But imagine, right? Then you've signed up to this contract. You've got no termination rights in your contract. You can't leave your promoter. You've got to fulfill all of your fights. Only the promoter can give that up. You're fighting. You have your first fight. You knock the guy out. By the fifth fight, everybody in the UK knows you, or the world knows you now.
Wow.
And you've got this shot at a world title. And this is when the business side kicks in, right? And now you're thinking, wow, I've got something. I didn't know how. And you're spending more effort, more sacrifices, because you're only going to be reaching those levels if you're working like really, really hard and making those sacrifices, right? You get to your 10th fight and your promoter says, I've got a world title or a British title shot for you. And you're like, I want this, right? I really, really want it. But then you look at what you're going to get paid, and it's £100. And the promoter is going to be making hundreds of thousands of pounds. So in your mind, this goes back to your earlier question, was a brilliant one. As that young fighter do you think, do I take £100 knowing that I'm getting screwed here really, and the promoter is making stupid amounts of money? Do I do it for the glory to become, or do I say, I'm not doing that, let me fight another so-and-so, fulfill my contract, and then enter into a new one where now I know what I'm about.
Okay.
Do you see what I mean?
Right.
So you're getting tied into things day one, which can come back to haunt you. If you're a fighter and you've got no other options and you just want to get on that trail and get signed up by a promotion company, get a platform, then you're more likely just to accept, right?
Yeah.
All I'm saying is, and what we're about is saying, don't just sign it. Don't, because you've got no other options.
Yes.
At least, at the very least, get some advice and try and get a better deal for yourself. If myself or whoever, we look at it and think, oh, come on, you need a bit more, you need a bit, some more better terms. Let's put them forward.
I get it.
And if the promoter is in a better bargaining position because he knows you've got no other options and he's taking a real punt on you because whatever reason, it could go either way.
Yes.
He deserves to take a higher return, right? Because you're a riskier investment.
100.
But let's try and ask. Don't just sign it.
Sure.
Let's try and negotiate. If there's pushback and there's, the promoter's like, it's either this or it's nothing, then I'll be saying, listen, you might just want to sign it because we've tried and it's not happening. But again, these promoters, from what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing when having some sort of dealings behind the scene, let's just, try and negotiate, because more than often, everyone's reasonable. So if you ask for something and you can justify why you're asking for it, if you don't ask, you don't get.
Difficult. I have crashes all the time. All the time. And when I say crash, I don't want to do this shit no more. This is nothing now. Like, why am I doing this? And you get irritated, get angry, annoyed, frustrated, all of these kind of things. Dark, you can get dark and get depressed. And it's in those moments, luckily enough, that I had those lessons without really realizing, of perseverance when I was younger, getting my ass kicked anyway, but yet still traveling down. Looking at myself now, if I had stopped, MVP wouldn't exist. Okay, get up and train. Like, you have to keep checking back in. It's hard. I feel like now people see me as gifted, and it feels like, I am different to a lot of the people. You see people coming through the gym and people that have sparred me and stuff, and they're like, man, they've never seen anything like it. But at the same time, it was, as much as it wasn't in my adult years, as a kid, I used to get my ass handed to me for fun. Not by my older brother used to beat me up. Call them older brothers, Simon Lewis, Marvin Francis. They were guys that my dad took under his wing, and they would train with us from young, from like 12 and 15 and whatever. And this grew in the sport. So these are guys that I would be with around all the time. And even outside, the people I could call, and so they were like my older brothers, they'll come down. If I needed help with something, they can come down.
Yes.
And they were all from rough areas as well, because we was in and around Harlesden, Stonebridge, and all those kind of areas where we were doing the classes. So my dad knows a lot of the kind of negative people, but in a good way, because he used to bring all of them in and teach them. Yeah. So all of these guys I used to look up to as well. And it's that was my influence. That was for me, that was one of the best bits about it, is the second family that I created being there. So it's MVP versus MVP. I don't have opponents. It's just me versus me. If I am the best MVP on the night, I don't care who's in front of me. And that's why I would say the more relaxed I am, the slower everything feels. I can see everybody. Like, it's weird. There's thousands of people in the arena. And like, I've spotted friends in my crowd up there, like walked out and gone, and they've seen me like, oh my God, like, because I'm very present at the same time.
Yes.
But I can only do that when I'm enjoying every aspect of it. And you see, like, there's a clip of Mayweather as well. He's boxing, he's in the ring, he's fighting. The commentator say something, he went, yeah, I do that.
Talking to him. This is one of the things that Floyd does best, by the way, is psychological warfare. I do that.
I'm that kind of person, as in, like, I can hear what's going on, but you have to be a certain comfort to be able to do that. And I can hear when their coach is saying something. And it's funny, I had one guy, he was cool, to be fair. His coach was giving me a bit weird energy beforehand. And I'm a petty guy when it comes to combat. And he's giving me a bit weird energy. So one of the fights, I was fighting this guy, and I just turned and looked at him. His guy's here. And I'm just staring at him, and this guy's throwing punches, and I'm dodging the punches. And he was like getting uncomfortable, like trying to coach his fighter, but then looking at me, looking at him, and he was just,
wow.
And I loved it. I love the fact I'm like, it doesn't matter what you say. Yeah, and all that energy you brought means nothing. I broke your coach. I didn't even break you. I broke your coach. Your coach didn't have nothing to give you. Do you see what I mean? And that's me. I'm a very creative mind. Most people probably can tell from my fights, but so I try to input that in other aspects as well in my life. So let's say example of lockdown, literally You know, everyone's not really doing much. Cool. Instead of just sitting here crying about why lockdowns even existing, let me do something with the time. So yes, I was still training anyway, but I'm like, outside of that, it's boring. You know, what else I'm doing? Can't fight. Cool. Oh, I love music, but I'm gonna buy some decks. Bought some decks. Gonna learn how to DJ. Now I can DJ. Just mixing and falling in love with it. Or very recently, very recently, a friend of mine's, her daughter's birthday, and gone down to just see them, say hello, but they did it at a roller disco. I was like, this is amazing, because I love to dance, I love movement, like I love being free, but the type of movement it is in the roller disco is it's very dance orientated as well. And Blade when I was younger, but roller skating is different, the four wheels is different. I'm about to go and buy my skates on the weekend. Like, it's having to do, kind of expressing myself and leaning into other things just to keep myself, my mind going. But also recently getting more into the kind of spiritual side, meditations, talking to self, speaking to certain people, just to help with that. It's not something, I feel like it's difficult to just do by yourself. And I also understand that these things that I pick up, for me, is still a distraction. Because if something happened and I wasn't able to do it, let's say I got injured, I wasn't able to do those distractions, then I go back to the person that can bring, those demons can come back out.
Yes.
So sometimes you just need to challenge those demons directly.
I've been traumatized in the ring. It's made me a lot stronger in life. Life is a lot more precious to me now. I mean, love is sold in life. I said something, one love is sold, I've got life. My care of her room. He changed my life. It's a blessing. It's because God is great. God is truly is great.
Did you hear around you while you was in a coma?
Yes, I could.
Okay.
I couldn't react.
Right.
I can remember one incident. It's like a nightmare. I saw my mum and my doctor who operated on me 7 times on my head. I remember the doctor saying to my mum, I see him like looking through the TV screen. I can hear him, but I couldn't respond. I heard my daughter saying to Mum, Mrs. Watson, I don't think your son will have much longer to live. I'm listening to that. I spoke to the inner spirit, but dear Lord God Almighty, please save my life. I promise you, if you save my life, I'll be a true witness to you in Jesus' name. That's what I said within my thought. Please give me life. Positive of faith. Here I am.
Positivity.
Self-belief. All the tests of faith, Sean.
There's a lot of people who don't believe in themselves. What do you say to them?
Believe. It's a lot easier said than done.
Yeah.
I was brought up spiritually. I believe in a higher power. I kept the faith. That's what's made me stronger. In Jesus' name. There's a great power in that name.
Is there anything somebody can do if they're not believing in themselves, or they're a little bit down, or they're low in confidence?
It's down to the people you mix with. It's not what you know, it's who you know, Sean.
Yeah.
It does make a difference with people. You have the right person around you can generate excitement in your life.
Yeah.
Vice versa.
It's powerful. You have top businessmen here in this podcast. It's just simple. It's just simple how you just said that. We say the 5 closest people. Show me your friends, I'll show you who you are.
Exactly. I mean, the care I had before, and I've gone to dark places, meeting dark people. But since he came into my life, my future's changed for the better. It's like a miracle. It changed me as a person.
So you've got out of this coma, you've met Muhammad Ali, and the rehabilitation starts for you to try get you to walk again and talk again. Because people got to know that you was in a position where you couldn't walk or talk.
I stand up into a standing frame in my bedroom, strapped out like a mummy. My chest, my legs, everywhere. I just looked in the mirror. I just said, look at the state of me. You got to take it off with smooth in life. It's good to be of good character when you're into a position like that. I was laughing at myself. Being charismatic. It's a fight of survival. And thank God I've survived.
A lot of surviving is the self-belief.
That's right, exactly. And being strong and confident within yourself.
The mind is a powerful machine.
You see, mind over matter. When our mind's right, you're going places.
Do you think if you're negative in your brain, it sends negative signals to the rest of your body?
Yes, it does. Because it's the mind is the engine of the body.
And if you think positive, you can change the scenario?
You can do all things. Look at me with Nigel. And with negative against Nigel, I wouldn't survive 1 round.
Yeah.
He would have blown me out quickly. Self-belief and determination.
Instead, a guy that's knocked everybody out, you knocked him out.
Absolutely. I self-believe.
And in half the time.
Absolutely.
Didn't take you 12 rounds, did it?
I don't get paid for overtime.